Today's topic is going to be over a movie with gratuitous cameos, a bunch of action, and the greatest opening scene a movie's ever had. So, let's talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. Let's fucking go. Two things before I get started. One, this is gonna have a shit ton of spoilers, so if you don't want spoilers, even though it's been out for 5 days, hold off on this video and then come back. Second is there aren't going to be any video cutaways and clip cutaways because this is a movie still in theaters, so I don't have footage to splice in that aren't trailers or bootlegs. So I'm just gonna rant. Okay, so we're gonna start with, like I said, the greatest opening any movie's ever had, and that was the best Slaughterfest while singing and dancing to Bye 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 from NSYNC. I cannot exaggerate when I tell you how much I enjoyed that opening. For a man who doesn't move around much with it or without a cane, it was painful. Let's put it that way. But it was so fantastic. It starts with Wade digging up Logan's corpse from Earth 616, finding his skeleton, and then beating and killing the TVA agents that assault him with Logan's dead adamantium bones. It is fantastic. And like I said, the entire thing is done to the song of NSYNC's Bye Bye Bye. Fucking Deadpool is dancing, doing the dance in middle of cuts while he's sitting there taking adamantium bones and just murdering people. It is fantastic. That being said, that is quite literally the best part of the movie. The only part I found to be as enjoyable was, and then the baby knife joke was only used 3 times, and it was still fantastic. Anyway, I'm not going to say that I disliked this movie. It was still a very good movie. It's Deadpool. Of course it's going to be good. We all love Deadpool. And the fact that they meta-referenced his fourth wall breaking by showing what it looks like when he breaks the fourth wall to other characters, it was great. But the entire movie takes place inside a giant plot hole. Because the basis of the movie is Logan died, and apparently Deadpool's been in the Logan universe this entire time. Because apparently, according to Paradox from the TVA, when an anchor being, which, what the fuck is an anchor being? They should have told us this back in Loki time frames, or when we found out that Wanda was a Nexus being. Because, yeah. Hold on. I'll go back. The entire point is Logan died, so Logan's universe is slowly deteriorating because, like, apparently in the MCU, when a quote-unquote anchor being dies, their universe dies slowly over the course of thousands of years because they are no longer there. That being said, I'll come back to these. We continue with a flash back to Wade's birthday party. This is where the trailer happens, where it's got the entire group celebrating with Wade, and then the TVA stuff happens technically. It's all literally the beginning of the movie. And when Wade gets stolen or taken from the TVA, or taken by the TVA, Paradox shows him what happened in the MCU. Fourth wall breaks, meta jokes, you get the idea. Brand new Deadpool suit, which is so nice and clean, but I'll be honest, the suit that they had for Nice Pool was so much better. Well, it was armored, so that's why I liked it more. But the cloth rubber suit that he was wearing for the movie, I love the update. It's not much of an update, very subtle, but enjoyable. The fact that Peter is still mainstay, love it. Shatterstar, I can take or leave because I didn't really care too much for Shatterstar in the second movie. Peter, Peter's what mattered. Um, then we'll continue. We find out that there's a TVA station on Earth inside of a subway station. That's fucking stupid. Um, we find out that Paradox wants to use Deadpool to basically trim other timelines so he can stick him in the sacred timeline, which, again, I'll come back to later. But Wade's like, I don't want to end my timeline, so I'm gonna get another Wolverine. He grabs the Logan that we see in the trailers, who is effectively the worst Wolverine in all of the multiverses. Pulls him back into the TVA, and then finds out that that's not what was supposed to happen. Wasn't good enough, and that you can't just pull an anchor being from one timeline to fix another, which kind of makes sense, to be honest. Probably the only thing in that movie that made sense. We'll continue. Wade and Logan fight off the TVA agents as much as they can after they wake up, figure out what's going on, and Paradox prunes them both and sends them to the Void. That's when we find the Mad Max versions of stuff, or the Mad Max rip-offs of all the old X-Men characters. We have the cameos of Pyro, Sabretooth, Azrael, Lady Deathstrike, Juggernaut from the design from the from the second Deadpool movie, but I don't know if it was the same actor because they made the meta joke of which Juggernaut are you this week. So I can't remember, but they used the same armor as from Deadpool 2, so whatever. Um, they get caught. Oh, Chris Evans, Johnny Storm. That was the cameo I wanted to see the most. Who by the way gets killed by Cassandra Nova swapping his skin and just letting his bones and meat just drop. It was great. I gave it a brutal point. um, Logan and Deadpool escape Cassandra Nova's lair, or while Elias is trying to eat them through a mechanical foot. I think it's supposed to be a what is it? Sentinel. I think it was supposed to be a Sentinel foot or something. That or it was a mech suit. One of the two. But they fly out before Elias eats them for the first time. Kind of like in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, when Mario and Donkey Kong get out of the eel with the barrel. Kind of situation like that. But anyway, they get launched out into another part of the void. They get caught again by another group, which ends up being all of the hero cameos, which ends up being Elektra, who is Jennifer Gardner, Wesley Snipes' Blade, making the greatest joke of saying, there is only one blade, there only ever gonna be one blade. And Deadpool looking at the screen. That was kind of funny. Let's see, we got Gambit. I was right to not be trustworthy of Channing Tatum's Gambit. Don't get me wrong. His physical acting, point for the most part. His suit, though Gambit accurate, the purple parts that kind of had muscle plates, it looked like a sheet of rubber because it was bendy and all whooshy. Looked like I don't want to say it looked like a cosplay costume because cosplay costumes look better than that. And his French accent. Who they even pointed it out in the movie. Who the hell fuck is your language expert coach? Because or linguistics coach. That's who it was. Because his French was horrible. His French accent was horrible. He also looked bad in the suit, so it's whatever. We found out we wouldn't get Ben Affleck Daredevil, which was sad. I was looking forward to that. But hey, it's whatever. I was kind of hoping we get to see the old Lokis too from Loki season 1, but then I remembered Eliath ate them all. But anyway, after meeting up with the pruned heroes, they assault Cassandra Nova. Oh yeah, we forgot X-22 is back because she was the one that gathered all of them in the void in the first place. Anyway, thanks to their plan, they assault Cassandra Nova's hideout again. Wade and Wolverine get inside. X-23 gets the Juggernaut's helmet, manages to get it inside of the layer so Deadpool can stick it on Cassandra's head so she can't use her psychic powers anymore while she's torturing Logan. Pyro shoots her a few times during that while she can't use her powers to regenerate, which doesn't make sense also. I'll go back to that in a moment. And, well, Wolverine saves her by taking the helmet off to allow her to heal herself. At that point, she sends them back into the 100035. I think it's Deadpool's Earth that they send him back to. Anyway, and that's when we get the Ladypool, Dogpool slash the Deadpool Corps. And pretty funny slash fest. They're going through all of the Deadpools. Everyone falls. They get happy about the win, and then once you start thinking to yourself, "Wait a minute, they all have regenerative healing factors," they all start standing up, and the fight starts again. It was great. I'm not gonna lie, but still not as amazing as the first or as the first opening of the movie. Um, Cassandra invades the TVA area where a paradox is, steals the time loom machine thing that they were trying to build, which this made very little sense. It was a giant blocky machine that apparently tore timelines apart like at the end of season 2 of Loki, but they didn't give a lot of detail into it. And then I couldn't for the life of me, I couldn't figure out where the story would go just in case they chose to let her win. It didn't make sense. And the only way to stop her was, well, Deadpool and Wolverine grabbing two things of looms, antimatter and matter, and to link them together to apparently destroy. Like, that had me so lost. But it happened. They won. Logan didn't go back to his timeline because he had already ruined everything and made himself a bad guy or a hero, not even a hero anymore. And since the TVA couldn't fix that because those events are what turned him into the Logan that helped save the multiverse, they couldn't fix him. So they just took him and put him in Wade's universe. So now he's a part of the Deadpool universe. And he's part of the Deadpool crew. Which is kind of cool. I'll give it that. Then the end credit scene, it was just Deadpool reversing the TVA screens to show that Johnny Storm was bad mouthing Cassandra Nova the whole time, being the reason why Wade blabbed it all to her, and then his skin. Pretty basic movie. All right, so let me go backward. The machine that Cassandra Nova wanted, that she got her hands on, blah blah blah. what was that supposed to do? Besides destroy a timeline that it itself was positioned in. And if that timeline goes away, where the hell was she supposed to go? There's nothing in between the voids or the timelines or the realm of null, whatever. Second, a Deadpool with no healing factor. Nice pool. No, a Deadpool with no healing factor. We got to see a Deadpool die. And it was kind of funny. The fact that he isn't in trouble for using Cable's time jumper. That right there should have been enough to get the TVA on his ass. No mentions of incursions. They should have run into old. There should have been callbacks to Loki seasons 1 and 2 for this, since they brought in the TVA. That's the biggest problem I have there, is the problem I'm about to mention. And alright, fuck it. My biggest problem, my biggest plot hole of the entire thing is Loki. At the end of season 2, he became the god of stories. He holds every timeline in his hands. Every single one. Of all people, he should be able to notice when a timeline is dying, no matter at what point. Meaning he should have been a part of this, or referenced in some way, instead of bringing the only TVA agent we noted or we remembered back, and that being the one that punched Loki in the face in season 1. But it just felt like the entire movie was meant specifically for gratuitous cameos. And though I'm down for gratuitous cameos, don't get me wrong. It's it was built to be so good, and though it was good, it it wasn't on the same level as Deadpool 2. It just seemed like they were trying to basically rip off Endgame as much as they could, which they even mentioned. I think things have been slowly or steadily growing since Endgame. But no. Um, then Anchor Being's dying. Let's put a pin here real quick and go back. Anchor Being's dying. Okay. They didn't specifically state that Loki is an Anchor Being, but he's not a Nexus being. That's Wanda. And well, I guess technically there's more than one Nexus being, but I mean he's got to be technically the anchor being for his timeline, which is the main MCU time. Well, let me rephrase that. The Loki that we saw die was a part of the main MCU timeline. And yet, the Loki from season 2, after holding everything, doesn't realize that one of those universes is dying. What about at the end, if it's Steve Rogers and he's dead? What about that? Or what about the timelines that require a anchor being, but it's before the anchor being is born, and then the anchor being passes away? Granted, they already said anchor being passes away, the universe slowly dies, but at that point, what the fuck was the point of them in the first place? And again, Loki. He would have had something to say, or at least something to reference, especially with who was apparently ahead of the TVA in this movie. But I digress. I just took a 2.5 hour movie and condensed it into 19 minutes. So, actually shorter than that because I took a lot of pauses and said a lot. Not the point. Point is, they did kind of, well, they didn't open it up for one more Deadpool movie, but we all know what the next goal is for a Deadpool movie, and we all know it's going to be Deadpool and Spider-Man. And my wife doesn't adamant on hoping it's not going to be the Tom Holland Spider-Man, but Tom Holland's Spider-Man is the only one that makes sense to team up with Wade Wilson because Tobey Maguire not only is too old, but he's too timid. Andrew Garfield, once again, too old, but also too cocky. It'd be too much of a high point back and forth barbs. And with Spider-Man and Deadpool, it's supposed to be a high point barb, high point, low point, things like that. And I think Tom Holland would be perfect for that. But I guess we will have to. I guess we'll have to wait another 5 years to find out. 5, 6 years, whatever. Well, technically, this one was. I mean, Deadpool 2 was 2018. That was 6 years ago. So either way, we'll find out. Maybe. But that's my rant for the day. Sorry that there weren't any cutaways, there weren't any clips, there was nothing funny. I was just ranting about the movie. So, but hey, I still had fun. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bad News Harris out.